Alright, so we can see Midir right off in the distance, and the Dark Soulsest of all Dark Souls tropes. Man, I can't believe I almost died right there. You gotta have a really good flame shield, fire defense shield, and that will kind of help. Really, we should have just drawn him out for his first pass. Yeah, we're fat rolling. So that we'd had a little more time. But that's not what we did. And generally, you don't want to try to make a move. I thought I was a lot closer than I was. You don't want to try to make a move when he is up front. You want to make a move when he is heading to the back. Because like right there just gives us no time to move, but once the flames die down, we've got a lot more time to get where we need to go. And even though this dragon was hard as balls, I like the premise that, so essentially Midir was left here by Gwyn to just essentially consume any rambunctious dark, any level of dark that would try to rise up against him or try to leave the Ringed City or overthrow the Ringed City. Midir was left there to handle that. And so, as he was a dragon, an actual legit ancient dragon, was not suited for the dark. And so, as he consumed the dark, it consumed him as well. This guy, this took forever to pull him up and get him to drop through that. And yeah, I mean, you can fight him the bread and butter way, but why would you? You literally have a dragon right out front who will just light him on fire. So now we have our first actual showdown with Midir. So you have two ways to handle this fight. The way I did it was a little bit cheesier, but it's not perfect. If you stand right here, you will generally not get hit by any of Midir's attacks. However, there are still some different variations of the attack where it'll get you. So, I mean, 98% of the time, the attacks will miss. But like if I had been facing the other way, that would have just dropped me right off that cliff. Knocked it right down into the chasm. Sadly, we're not done. still got a whole lot of Midir to deal with. Whole lot to deal with. To deal with. It works. And so it sucks because I had one respec left to reallocate my souls and levels and all of that. And so going into this, knowing I was going to be fighting Midir, which is, you know, up there as one of the hardest bosses in the game, I thought, okay, I'll get some faith so that I can use more lightning damage, and I got that Dragon Slayer axe with all the lightning and all of that. Did me no good. Did me no good. I ended up just using the Exile Greatsword. And so all that respecking, that last one, left myself with all of this faith that now I can't do anything with. Literally took damage away from my main weapon. So getting that item is on the tricky side, and if you go back to that doorway where we got the request to slay Midir, she will give you another bit of dialogue that is kind of a clue about how to and this is the most important shortcut of all time. We're yawning again, I'm sorry. She will give you a bit of dialogue that is a hint about this room in particular. So once we go into it, obviously I'll make sure you see it, but dropping down right here to get this ring, this Chloranthy +3, and look at this statue, Gwen, like holding a crown over a hollow, like he's giving him a gift, yet nothing about that imagery is. So sword, 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 no sword. That's your clue. And then you want to hug the wall a bit to get this item. I believe that will allow you to join the Covenant. And this is a big drop. And it's really easy to forget that that ladder is there. And when I played online trying to get somebody to help me with this, for the love of God, lots of bloodstains right at the top of the ladder. And here we have Midir. And I don't remember. Oh, yeah, I was wanting to see if you could do the same thing you could do in Dark Souls 2. Just make your weapons insanely overpowered by having them infused with an element and then putting a coating on top of the infused element. So you want to try to hit Midir in the head as much as you can. So it gets double damage and it allows you to get a stun. So the two things about this fight: tons of AoE attacks, fire AoE attacks, and the arena is huge, and trying to close the distance on this thing is miserable. So it always starts the fight with just this big raging attack. That charge is brutal. It's charge and it's tail whip, where if you get behind it, I'm sure you'll see it kill me. This I have mixed feelings about this boss. Oh, and I summoned a NPC here just to kind of see how that would go. So the problem with this boss is the scale. One of the most common difficulties with the boss is just how often you miss, because it's so big. And it's really, really easy. Also, but because of its size, you can't really get a feel for how close you are. Yeah, that tail whip right there, that does so much damage. So it's, when a fight is challenging, and Slave Knight Gale is a perfect example of that. When a fight is challenging, it can still be really, really fun. But when the challenge is kind of a mechanical one, I don't feel like that works. That's not fun. That's kind of broken. I was gonna be so happy if I managed to beat him here, having no Estus left. But my hubris got cocky. You can't get cocky with Midir. I spent hours fighting this thing. Oh yeah, and there I used an ember as it killed me, so I lost a freaking ember. Oh my god, it's all coming back. got about an inch and a half of health left, and I got one heal. And at this point, I mean, oh yeah, when he jumps up and flies, you just have to run to the left. You gotta get to the left. And this is it. And dead. Oh, if he'd have just like God of War 2 style, just fallen on us and smashed us, I would have lost my mind. So yeah, that is Darkeater Midir. Insanely tough boss. For the most part, it's fun. Oh, I gotta read this. Oh, Midir, descendant of archdragons, was raised by the gods and owing to his immortality. Sorry, I wasn't ready. Memory of an old sword found deep within Midir. The sorcerer uses souls to grant form to thought and attack with it. Attacks are coupled, and I was fast. I think I already got this. Come on, it's the one that's highlighted. Yeah. A dragon weapon symbolizing Darkeater Midir. The once exquisite blade is now stained black and frayed at the hilt. Without its sheath, it will soon crumble into nothing. Apparently, it's a really good sword, but its durability is 20, which means it breaks really fast. Does a lot of bleed, but also breaks. So that is everything with Darkeater Midir, from crossing the bridge to killing him in his cave. And next we got Gale.